Well, yes, that's a very good question. In fact, I brought that up today, yesterday, that as we keep building lines, people are forgetting the infrastructure that has to be expanded, including the rail line control center. Right now, right in Imperial where the rock is at, we share it with the sheriff department. On the upstairs, you have all the screens for not only for all the train screens. In fact, you know what? Some night, if you want to go up to the rock, you go up. It's kind of cool to look at if you want to go. That would be very cool. Mark? Yes. I mean, maybe sometime early next year, if you guys want to have one of your meetings at the rock, so you can all see it. But we're running out of room. We basically told Rick, and I haven't told him yet, that we're going to need some funds to figure out a way to expand that. Because we don't. It was never designed for this many lines, and now we're going to be adding all. So one alternative is maybe take the sheriff department and move them up to a different location, the downstairs, expand that way. So we're looking at it, but with all these rail lines, maintenance shops, not just the yard shop facility, but maintenance of the way where we're going to store trash. Storage becomes the rail control center. So, great question. One that I've really been provoking, because when the planners get a hold of a project, they only look at their line. Not looking at the system.
We still have the original red line control center, is that right? We wanted to move the red line back there, open up some space.
Okay, where is it? Maybe I don't know. Where is the original red line?
It's over in the yard.
I think they're going to be
You mean at 61?
That wasn't very right.
Maintenance away facility?
A lot of our team.
No, the red line yard.
The yard tower, yeah, that's the yard.
No, there's the entire control center.
Okay.
That's one thing.
Okay. Fair enough.
And so if you don't mind having a separate control center for having it's a crazy story why that was done. There's basically Neil Peterson wanted to have all the train control. It's still there. A lot of things were done down to the point of having two wires, the main leads for everything. Totally separate all the way to the tunnels, totally separate conduit, completely separate. And then when they decided to put the red line at Imperial, there's one black backhoe place you're on the
Mike, I had another kind of off-the-wall question. Metro owns the old Azusa branch that runs down from the brewery.
Kind of.
Yeah, I know it's shared.
Well, let me tell you the truth. This is still a problem with Philippe. In 1992, they purchased it from the Santa Fe. This should get more interesting. Metro purchased it, but gave rights to the railroad to operate all the time, 18 out of 24 hours a day. It says you can still operate it except from, like, let's say it's 5:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. and 3 to 6 p.m. In other words, the extension to Azusa and beyond is designed to be a Metrolink commuter rail.
Oh, I'm talking about a different railway.
I'm talking about
the part that goes from the brewery south.
somebody who does the branch.
Yeah.
She connects to the UP line,
Right.
the Metrolink line.
Yeah, Metro owns that.
They own that. In fact, I don't know where your pocket is going, but yeah, they own all of that. But there's conditions to using the line. But there is no real advantage for us to use that line.
I was wondering if
The
that
advantage would be to get further to north and to go down the UP line and serve the Delaware.
I was wondering if that might be an option for yards if anything else fell apart.
Well, there was a site right there that we looked at a yard at the Miller Brewery site. In fact, there's a funny story that to clear that environmentally, there was a bird. You're an environmentalist. Who's the environmentalist? Someone with a scientific environmentalist. That's what you. Okay, right. So there's a bird called a gnatcatcher. They were concerned that if we could clear that environmentally for yard shot site, it might stop the mating of the gnatcatcher bird. So we had to hire somebody to live in a pen out there for a month to make sure they weren't messing around. So they did mess around, and so we could have moved forward a little bit, but didn't.
Going back to the west side extension.
Okay.
Any
Subway?
Yeah. Any possibility or provision for drilling added bores for express trains all the way to the west side, or even allowing for the future boring of express trains?
It's still in the planning phase. I would doubt it because it's going to be so fast anyhow. I doubt it. But you can bring it up with the planning phase. It's interesting though. That subway goes all the way to Santa Monica. See, we're going to have two lines parallel. Light rail lines to Santa Monica. The model shows that happens. All the light rail lines dry up like that.
But no one knows south lines.
Right?
But no one knows south.
Get your Crenshaw.
But nothing far like next like that kind of goes. What happens is it kind of goes like this and it gets to the middle instead of like here's the 405 and here's like the 110. It's in the middle there, but it's not far west enough.
It gets around to 5 hours.
Yeah.
But it took us. How many years did it take to get the long range plan?
6 or 7 years.
I don't think less than a week than if you get adopted, we're going to make any changes.
When you say an express, wouldn't save much time. The subway goes all the way to Santa Monica. What would be the savings in runtime if it had only, say, junction stops at Crenshaw Line and any place else?
Skip 3 stations.
Yeah.
Well, we
Until
actually
it hit Wilshire and Western.
keep in mind we actually really was a year and a half. Okay, if you're running a 5-minute headway, right? And the signaling system's going to keep from being more than a minute close to it, the most you're ever going to save is 4 minutes, unless you have an additional
I'm positing an additional bore.
additional more. How much did you say it was a mile?
90 to 120 miles.
Chump change.
But here's the problem. Just throw this out, okay? I wasn't a big fan of the express service because I couldn't see it saving time, but there's a theory called the matrix system. If there's what is there on the gold line? There's 12 stations, 12 stations. They're all a matrix in terms of who wants to go from this station to this. And every time you add stations in the system, mathematically, the extra 6 stations on the expo line exponentially make the system bigger, so you can go from North Hollywood to USC all of a sudden, or you can go from USC to Pasadena, or USC to East Los Angeles, and adding the stations exponentially means that you've got all these pairs, and nobody has the trips where it's not a linear. Like in New York City, the reasons you have the skip tracks are the New York City subway is basically like a bus. It's 4 stations or 3 stations per mile, and then you have your express tracks that go every mile or a mile and a half or 2 miles. Here, our system, mostly every mile. So here we have stations that are generally a mile, 2 miles apart. And so our operating speeds are actually pretty fast. And the real question if you decides well, what station would you skip if you're on the expo line? You just skip La Cienega, La Brea, Crenshaw. Everybody has, if they're coming north and south using bus transfer, they don't want to see a train going by. It's the same problem with the orange line. This continuous suggestion that we have an orange line that skips a whole bunch of stations. So most of the stations you have half the frequency, and then you have to predict that all these people want to go from here to here. And marketing-wise, they came up with the ZEV Express that went from Santa Monica to Westwood. Nobody voted from Santa Monica to Westwood. And then the bus would pass by the Veterans Hospital where hundreds of people wanted to ride the bus and the service was reduced.